What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Welcome to the show. A few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Latest SmackDown. I choked. Latest SmackDown, like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up and a message out. Do me a favor and do that now. Help a brother out. As you guys know, we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Punchy.tv. And at any point during the show, you can call in by calling 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we can get into whatever's on your heart right now. Is it the Grammys? Is it the Super Bowl? Is it the A, B, and C? We can get into it and we could talk about it. You can call in. And if for whatever reason you can't call in, but you still have a question or comment, or you just want to support the show, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV or go directly to the YouTube live chat, hit the super chat button there, send your question or comments, and I'll read them live on air. And speaking of that, Liesel out the gate with a very generous donation. Shout out to Liesel. Says, hey Joel, as promised, JFTV and AAB rock. American Anchor Baby is AAB. I'll always be here to support you both. Shout out to the fabulous Snake Pit. Love you guys. I appreciate that, Liesel. We love you back. We also appreciate the donations here as well to the office. Amazing stuff. Shout out Liesel, big supporter, consistent supporter, caller, viewer, watcher. We appreciate it, Liesel. Thank you very much. Shout out to Liesel. Amazing stuff. She goes on to say with another super chat, Joel, AAB, Liesel, Terry, C-Sound, Snake Pit are the happiest people on this earth. Based. Right on. Shout out. I appreciate that, Liesel. Amazing stuff. And I will continue to get to some more of those super chats as well as we go on in the show. A few things I want to talk about, though, for today. What's today? Today is Monday. Grace and Mercy Monday. Grace and Mercy Monday. What does that mean? That means today we get into that good old word. And when I say by word, I just mean like, we talk about more spiritual, religious stuff. You know what I mean? We get into more of like the God talk on Mondays. And today I have a little message for you. Praising the gift over the giver. A lot going on with the Grammys and the Super. I don't know what's going on in my throat. The Grammys and God won't let me get it out, y'all. We're gonna get into it, but all kind of stuff going on, and I kind of want to break down a few things. But for some quick news, a little something is Beyonce. Obviously, there's a lot of things that are going on. Beyonce won country album of the year. Very crazy, especially if you heard some of the songs on that country album. Very crazy stuff. Also, Taylor Swift got booed at the Super Bowl. And also Kendrick Lamar's his Super Bowl performance. I want to get into all those things, and we actually are gonna break those things down when on Punchy TV. Okay, today at 2 p.m. Pacific time, we're doing a live episode on Punchy TV featuring myself, the American Anchor Baby, Nick, and James Hake of the Hake Report. We will be and accompanied by some guests as well. You may be seeing some familiar faces popping in as well on the live episode, and we're going to get into the Super Bowl stuff. We're going to get into the halftime show. we're gonna get into some stuff. All right, so make sure you guys tune in at 2 p.m. today, Pacific time. But what I mainly want to get into is praising the gift over the giver. Cause I found, and then I'll get to some calls. Dang. I know what I'm gonna do. Cause I see some calls on the line and I want to get to them really quick. Maybe not all of them, but I'm gonna switch it up and I'm gonna get to some calls really quick first. Let's try to get to some calls. So let me go to first time caller Nick out of Florida. Nick, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, Joel. How's it going?
All is well, Nick. How are you doing?
Doing well.
Right on.
I had a question. I called JLP earlier about this, but it was about telling my girlfriend expectations, if I should set them and not being angry and everything. But I was just wondering, I wanted to ask you, do you think it's disrespectful for her to hang out with a guy friend, even though we're dating?
Well, you're gonna have to fill me in on some of the details because I didn't really hear the call this morning with Jesse Peterson, and also some people are tuning in didn't hear the call as well. So kind of fill us in a little bit more context of your situation, and then I can answer that for you. Yeah.
So I called JLP and I was basically saying I don't like it when she hangs out with this guy friend.
Your girlfriend,
and
right?
I was like, yeah, my girlfriend. Yeah.
Okay.
And I was just asking him if I should be kind of setting an expectation that she shouldn't do that, and because it kind of like made me angry that she was like hanging out, and I didn't want to do it out of anger.
Yeah.
So I just calmed down and wanted to call JLP about it.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, you should say like that's wrong. But I was wondering with you, do you think it's disrespectful for her to do that?
So you have this girlfriend, and how long you guys been seeing each other?
9 months.
9 months. Okay. So you guys are like seriously dating. And she's hanging out with just a random guy, or who is this guy?
Nah, it's it's one of her guy friends she's had for a while.
Okay.
And I kind of told her she needs to drop her bad friends, and he's kind of a bad friend.
Oh, okay.
And I just don't think she wants to get married and everything. And I'm like, I don't think you should be hanging out with a different guy if you want to be a wife. That's just not. I just didn't think I was wrong.
Yeah. So this is just my advice. Do what you want, of course. But for one, in my belief, what I believe is that if you're not married, that's not your girlfriend. You don't own her. She doesn't own you. She's not your wife and you're not her husband, so you can't tell her what she can and can't do. Also, while you're dating, that's a time to see the person's true intentions. So each person, male and female, is supposed to give the person they're getting to know the freedom to make their own decisions. And that's also a time for you to observe those decisions, right? And to see how she operates. So it's not up to you to control whether she does something or not. All you can do is see that and notice that she's okay with having these guy friends, and she thinks that having guy friends while being in a relationship is okay. All you can do is watch that and just see that as something that you don't like and maybe as a red flag, and that can help make your decision if she's the type of person you want to marry.
Amazing. That's a good answer. I like that.
And do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
In what way?
Because I think if she truly wants to get married and that's her intention is, to be a wife and a mother, which she says it is, she would kind of naturally fall away from that stuff.
Yeah.
She would see that that's wrong.
Right.
So me not trying to control her, but letting her see that. And if she wants to get married, I mean, could I tell her hey, if you ever want to get married, I wouldn't like you hanging out with guys.
I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with the conversation coming up because that's just your beliefs. Is I don't think that it's cool in my opinion, if I'm want to marry you for or my future wife to be having guy friends. If you don't like that, you can address that, and that way she can now look at your opinion on that and decide whether or not she agrees or wants or sees you in that way. So I think it's okay to have that conversation. But you guys both shouldn't be trying to control each other or change each other's mind or change each other's views, especially if you guys aren't married or nothing like that.
Yeah, I agree.
And another thing I want to mention too is that when if she's the right lady or you're the right guy, if you're doing the right thing and you're overcoming, the light in you will be so evident to her. And if she's that right person, she'll see that in you and she'll just be following you already. You know what I mean? And not in the sense that like she has to because you're her husband yet. No, you're not her husband yet, but she's already kind of like liking what she's seeing. So she's gravitating to you in your belief set, your mindset more. And that it's happening on its own. You don't have to go out your way now to try to change her or convince her or like prove to her why her belief is wrong. No, if she's blind and can't see, you don't want to marry that type of lady anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I see that because like she dropped so many things. She used to be a mess, and she kind of dropped a bunch of stuff.
Oh, okay.
When we got together, and yeah, I see that because like I forget my mom and my dad, and I could like sometimes she would ask me questions, and it was the Holy Spirit like talking through me or something. Because like after I'm like, how could I possibly say that?
Yeah.
I told her this like amazing advice, and she just like naturally went to her dad and told her that she's like super sorry for, being angry at him and resenting him. And I was like, she told me that, and I was like, wow, like I didn't even say you need to do that.
Nice. Yeah. So she's working on herself that you notice is what you're saying?
Yep. Yeah. And she is. Yeah.
And did she agree? Do you guys agree on most things?
Yeah. She when I explained to her stuff like this, she agrees with me. Yeah.
Well, some things, women, especially women today, are raised with this like feminist mindset, and it just kind of circulating the culture. So a lot of these women just believe these things just by default, and they have to overcome them. So she may just be like caught up in one of those just old bad habits of that feminist mindset when it comes to like having all kind of guy friends or whatever. So this is why dating is necessary as well, is because this is where you get to see how they handle all situations. So there's nothing wrong with just saying like, hey, I don't necessarily agree with you talking to another guy if we're dating. You don't tell her to stop, but you just say like, if I'm gonna marry you, I wouldn't want that. You can address that. You guys can have that conversation, but you don't try to get her to stop. And then you just see over time if her behavior starts changing, right? If she's understanding that, if that makes sense to her, or if she continues to have this little guy friend. And that will tell you by her behavior whether you should pursue or not. If she's like growing and learning and making sense of it and in that kind of way. So I wouldn't try to control her. I would just have a conversation and just observe the results.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I agree. That's good.
Yeah. Right on, awesome. Man.
Yeah, thank you, Joel.
No problem, man. I appreciate the call. And your first time calling the JFTV show, right?
Yep.
But you've called Jesse before and the other shows, or?
Yeah, I called Jesse. I actually tried to call Hake today
nice.
too, to show him a clip.
Oh, okay.
About some dude in our driveway. He drew a bunch of like swastikas on our car and stuff, and we have Trump signs out. I wanted to show you guys that clip.
Nice. You have to call in to Hake. Hake will love to tackle that type topic. But let me ask you really quick, and then I gotta go. How long you been listening to Bond in general?
I think maybe like 5 or 6 months now. I kind of started this last summer, and I was like, it blew me away. I was
Yeah.
just like, I agree with everything, and God really revealed it to me, and I'm just so grateful.
Right on, man. Well, it's good to hear from you, and I appreciate that, and keep doing what you're doing.
Of course, yeah. Thank you guys.
All right, no problem. Call me again. Right on. Let's keep the call rolling. You know what I mean? Let's go with the calls. Let's see what really quick Jaden out of California has to say. Jaden, welcome to the show. You're on the air. This is my alpha bro.
Alpha bro.
Alpha bro Jaden.
What's up, Joel?
What's going on, man? All is well.
Yeah, I really want to get your opinion on this. Just bounce this idea off of you because
Okay.
I had this like realization the other day. So I noticed, like, you know, the LA protests blocking the street and everything, like with the Mexican flag.
Yeah.
I saw that, and I was like, why? My first question was, where is all this energy in their own country to protest the cartels that are ruining their nation?
Yeah.
Like, where's all this fighting for freedom energy in your own country, right? And then I started thinking about other, you know, protests, like the feminists. I'm like, they have so much energy to protest in a nice, safe, comfortable place like America, where they already have rights.
Right.
But they won't go protest in Afghanistan, where women actually need it, right? Same thing with like BLM.
Yeah.
They'll protest California, the most liberal state, but they're not going to go in the deep south and go do their protest because they know it's going to be dangerous, right? So I'm just thinking, like, all these protests, why are they doing it if they're not going to actually go do it where it matters?
Right.
And that's when I'm like, bro, Democrats don't actually care about what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, they don't actually care about these issues. It's just like, it's like they can play the Star Wars hero, the Luke Skywalker, the rebel against the Darth Vader Trump. You know what I mean? Like, they can just have a little fantasy and then not fix anything, and then just go home and live their life. You know what I mean?
Well, that's.
And,
go ahead.
I just feel like that's way more evil than someone just saying, "Yeah, I don't really care about your country, Mexico." Rather than you saying, "Oh, I care so much," but then you do something that's not going to help at all, just so you can get a good thing out of it.
Right. And you know what that is? It's good points that you're making. And you're totally on the money there. Is that what this is a result of is, excuse me, America being spoiled, right? It's just spoiled people in America who over time are so accustomed to not being told that they're behaving improperly, getting away with doing all these things, receiving all these handouts, and not having to work for them. Like this nature not actually developing to become productive, to become a normal functioning member of society, to become common sense, right? It's not developing. So in that, people get lazy and they get angry and they get emotional and they start thinking that things are true that are not. And then you have like these high school kids who are high school kids, right? At the end of the day, you can't take these high school kids serious because they probably happy, most of them, probably 90% of them probably just happy just to get out of school, right? They don't know really what's going on.
You're talking about the Mexican ones?
Yeah, the Mexican ones. They don't know what's going on. They're just happy to get out of school. They just get out of school a free card, and they get to march around. I would probably do the same thing in high school. We get to go march around, not have to be in school. So I wouldn't even take them serious at all. But yeah, it's these.
And you know what? Or sorry, you finish.
I would just say it's these people that are been spoiled over the years in America, and we've had these fluffy laws that let people get away with all these things. And that's why I love that Trump is in there now and doing this hard stance on so many different things, because it's almost like when finally here comes the belt ready to put people in line, and that's what has been missing and why people go out of control is because they can.
Right. But, you know, Joel, I think they should have the right to do that, and I'm sure you'd agree, but I don't have a problem with them, like, being crazy and doing these protests. But when they start saying they're like fighting for freedom, yet they won't actually
Right.
go where it matters to fight for freedom, because it's
Yeah.
just like it's like, how do people like fall for this? It just keeps happening. They protest for a few days,
Yeah.
then give up when they don't have good feelings anymore and go home. Like, this is crazy. The
Yeah.
problem doesn't get solved. And at least with Republicans or conservatives like Trump, he's going to be, bro, I don't get why they don't like Trump. He's trying to help Mexico by defeating the cartels, which made the country a bad place in the first place.
Yeah.
He labeled them as terrorist organizations. He's sending people back. He's getting Mexico to go fight them with him. He's trying to help you rebuild your country instead of you coming over and just stealing from us. I don't get why these people are against that.
Blind and can't see. They don't. They can't.
Right.
They can't comprehend that. Because emotional people too. They get so offended and so they're so sensitive about things that aren't even important, right? If Trump can't even he can't even say the right thing to them, and if he does say the wrong thing according to them, then they're overreacting to that instead of seeing the fact that he's trying to bring America back, trying to keep people safe, trying to get rid of the people who are causing crime and all these different things. They don't care about that. They more care about their feelings and not being able to receive their free stuff, and that's what they're into. So,
and Joel, you know what I would do? Or sorry, like the Christians do this too, and it kind of annoys me. But I kind of go with the Christians, but they do it where they're protesting in America for Christian rights. Like, you have the Christian right. This is a Christian country. Why don't you go protest somewhere in like an Islamic country where people actually need to hear the truth about this? Go preach in the streets there instead of being like in the LGBT rallies. Go preach in the streets over there.
It's a thrill.
But with the Christians, I kind of get it because there are people in America who need help.
Yeah.
Spiritually. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's just, and there's a thrill in it too. Like, when it comes to the high school kids, the same type of thing. It's just like there's a thrill in just being mad and pointing the finger and saying that this is not fair, you're this and this. It's just like an exciting thing. And, people just want to do it for these reasons. Or some people think that they're doing it for genuine reasons, and that's also false too. So it's just blind and can't see. It's just blind and can't see. And there's nothing, and you make a good point, is that like people have the right to protest and do what they want and all that stuff. But when you see like these kids that stab somebody and all that stuff, that's when like they should know before that even happened that there's no way that they can even think to do that. And I think that now that Trump's in there, he's gonna enforce these more strict policies that make people think twice. So we'll see what happens. Last point, and then I gotta just run here. Go ahead. Yeah,
bro. I don't understand how I understand. California's just so weak, and it used to be such a good state in the 1940s when it was like Republican.
Yeah.
But you know what, bro? I think I know how to fix this. Let's just take that protest for the example, where they're blocking the street. You know what I would do if I was in charge of California, if I was the governor? I would head on down there, talk to the police chief, see if we can get one of those big, like, sound thingies that, like, blast high-pitched music into your, it's like a deterrent. It, like, just rings in your ear. Or, like, this big spotlight that kind of blinds you or whatever. But I think the ear thing is better because it actually, like, it's not lethal, but it makes you uncomfortable enough to where you have to get out of the way. And I would just put it on the street and just
or use the dang fire hose on them. Get them. We don't got
that. They'll say violence and all that, but the sound thing isn't lethal. So.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Well, fair enough, Jaden.
It's a real protester thing. You should look it up. It's pretty cool, and I think we need to buy some of those. So next time they block the street, they'll just run off as soon as we start playing.
Yeah, we got to do something because it's out of control. But I appreciate that, Jaden. Call me again, man. Good conversation. All right. I was gonna say put the fire hose on them, but we ain't got no water because the Democrats cut the water supply in California, so the firefighters can actually do their job properly because they want to save money. So there ain't no water to spray on people. It's all gone. So there's that. I'm gonna just keep moving the calls, y'all. People are calling in. They want to get in on some of the things we're talking about here. Let me go to Will, a first-time caller out of Australia. Will, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Good morning, Joel. How are you, my friend?
All is well, Will. How are you?
I'm quite well, sir. I'm quite well. Just to bounce off the last caller, if you really want some of them sound deterring devices, just call the Australian government. They were using them on us during COVID.
Oh, nice. So they exist. Yeah. We can use them.
Yeah, they exist. They exist. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And
nice.
To bounce off the last caller again, the reason why all this feminist stuff is going on is the virtue signaling, and like what you were saying, it gives them a thrill. It makes them feel good. It makes them feel like they're doing the right thing. And to just flow on from that into what I called about.
Yeah.
The feminist movement over here is ingrained. It is ingrained in just about, I don't know, it'd be more than 60% of the females over here. It's very hard to even come across a lady that wants traditional things, and then when they say they want traditional things, they usually find out that they're on OnlyFans, doing bad things and on all them subscription sites and posting photos, and it's a mess, bro. Yeah. It's an absolute mess.
No, it's a mess, man. It's a mess out. It's a mess everywhere, really. It's spreading.
Yeah, it's spreading. And I think it's been ingrained for so long. It's like a tree that's been growing, and the roots have just spread everywhere. I'm not sure where it started or how it started, but I see the tree well and truly ingrained, and I've been affected by it myself, to be completely honest.
In what way? What do you mean?
I made a baby with a liberal feminist.
Oh. Oh.
Ooh.
How did that happen, though? How did you get in that situation?
I was blind.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, it was years ago now, but if I had not had the love goggles on, if you know what I mean, if I had the rose-colored glasses on, if I didn't have those on, I probably would have made other decisions. Yeah. But I wouldn't have made a beautiful daughter either. So I don't know. It's a bit of a catch-22.
Yeah. It worked out in that way, but it was still a mistake that you had to learn from.
Yeah, exactly right.
Nice. And did you have a specific question about that, or what did you want to get into?
Well, what do you think about the whole liberal feminist thing and where it started?
Yeah. That's why I said it's crazy all over the place. Even over here in the States, specifically, I live in Los Angeles, California. There's the ladies over here are definitely caught up in that for sure. In the way they think, in the way they act, in the way they dress, it's all like in that, right? And the guys too, it bleeds into the guys, and the guys get it and all that stuff. But it's this women empowerment thing has come a long way for one, especially and the ladies out here that I see is that, women want to work, they want to compete with men, they want to make the money, they want to have a bunch of guys who they sleep around with so they can feel all this, all in such a way to feel like secure, right?
Yeah.
And all that is coming from weak men. In my opinion, is that the fathers aren't in the home guiding them in the right direction. The husbands aren't leading the family, and the brothers or whatever. And it's men are getting weaker, and when men are weaker, women are looking for love. And in their pursuit of looking for love, they find all kinds of mess, thinking that it's love or thinking that it's making them feel good, and then they're lost in the sauce. So it's really happening everywhere, and that's why men really have to come back. But I will say that if a man is looking, and I know this from experience, if a man is working on himself and he's really seeking the right thing and he's overcoming in himself, the right woman will be added to him, and it'll work its way, and then you'll be able to marry her and it'll work out. But you got to be doing your thing. You got to be seeking God first and putting God first and doing the right thing,
Exactly.
or he won't do it.
Yeah, you can't put the woman on a pedestal. You can't
Exactly.
be worshiping her before the Lord.
Exactly.
And I learned that the hard way, my friend. By God, holy.
Man, and you know what's so tricky? What's tricky is that you can even there's people who even like believe in God, right, or believe God exists, and like they're Chris. They call themselves Christians, but it doesn't mean that they put God first. You know what I mean? That their woman or whatever it is, the relationship is what's first, right? They praise that over God, and that's how you end up in the mess.
You've just described my life in that relationship.
Yeah.
And it's bizarre how you can see it so clearly at the end, though.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. There's rapids and rocks you got to avoid to get to the clear water and the calm water. But it flabbergasts me that I never saw it before. But like I said, I had the lust goggles on. I won't call them the love goggles. I'll say the lust goggles. Because she was pretty, and she was on the far high side of the crazy hot scale.
Yeah, man, and you know it's but you had to go through it, so it's not necessarily like it was such this wrong thing. It's like you had to go. It was a lesson learned. Like you said, you're grateful that you have a child now, but you learn from the mistake. So you know, a lot of people have regret and guilt about these things, and I think that's the wrong route too. I think you should just learn from it, and you know, and just be grateful that these things happen so you can learn from it. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. And I think if I didn't have God in my life, and if I wasn't leaning on Him, I think things would be a lot worse, and I would be in a very, very dark place. Because do you think it's like a God's plan type thing? Do you think He's like omnipresent and sees all things and does all that sort of stuff and sees things happening? And do you think that's a thing?
I think yes. I think that, and this is my opinion. I think that He's working it out all in our favor. That's why I'm not big on, a lot of people push back on me on this, and that's fine. But I'm not big on us having this idea of what right and wrong is, right? We can notice that, like, sex out of wedlock or having sex to a person you don't really know or who you don't really love, right, can cause is improper. It can cause these mistakes or whatever, but it doesn't necessarily mean that wasn't meant to happen. It doesn't necessarily mean that was so wrong that nothing good came from it. No, it taught you a lot. It taught you a lesson, right? And also now you have a daughter, right? But your daughter is not a mistake to you. So, it's just life. I think it's just life, and we just learn and grow in the process. And it only causes problems to me when we start identifying with what is right and what is wrong and all that stuff.
Yeah, I completely agree. And just to sort of extrapolate from that, I'll end after this.
Yeah.
It was a cycle, and my mother did the same thing to my father. And admittedly, I'm in a slightly better position than my father. My dad, he was a bit of a wildcat. He did a lot of wild things, and he had a lot more anger than I do. And he the same thing that he went through, the exact same thing I'm going through right now. And it's kind of, it makes me understand that this is not only something that happens to one person, but maybe it can be like a generational thing if you're not very, very careful and you're not in the right way and in the right place. And it's kind of scary because it's like, well, now I have to seriously switch on and I can't slip up, or else my daughter is going to be in the same position.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I see a lot of situations in my life that I'm repeating because that my dad went through, and I'm like, how does that even happen? But
what the?
Yeah, it's so crazy, and I'm thinking but I also see that it's also up to me to break the curse in it, right? Break do it the proper way and not make the same mistakes. And I see it the same path, but it's up to us to do the right thing along the path. So it's great that you recognize, it's great that we recognize it, because now we can see what needs to be done.
Yes. And Good morning from Australia. The sun's just rising. I just got on site. I'm having a coffee. I'm admittedly smoking a vape. I don't mind a bit of nicotine, but I just wish that Australia had half the amount of God presence that you guys have over there. I hope that even comes.
Well, just you be the start, or I'm sure there's other men as well that are trying somewhere around there, right? Very few. There's very few of them, but as long as you working on yourself, and like we're trying to do over here, then it'll snowball into more and more and more. So keep it up, man, and I appreciate the call. Will, call me again, and we'll talk more.
I will, brother. Thank you for talking, my man, and God be with you, brother.
All right, you as well. Thanks, Will. Right on. Nice. That was a good call. Cool. Right on. Shout out, Will. You know what I mean? But focus on yourself. That's all you can do. One thing will lead to another. Because guess what? If you overcome and then you have children and the children are led in the right direction, what happens? They have children, right? Children's children have children. Children's children have children. And it's snowballing into this, like, the right thing. And eventually you'll look around and at least your part of life, your world is at peace, right? And people will see that and they'll start asking questions. How do you have such peace? What is this going on? And then they'll want to seek it out. And then boom, 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 boom. That's how it has to work. But it starts with you just focusing on yourself. Not you going out in the world trying to change the world. Not you going out in the world trying to tell everybody how they need to be. Just by you focusing on yourself. Let me keep the calls moving. Right on. Grace and Mercy Mondays. Oh, we getting into it. Let me go to a first-time caller, Noah out of Sacramento. Noah, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Joel. You hear me?
Yes, sir. How's it going?
Doing well, man. I was at church yesterday, actually, so we briefly talked towards the end. I was the cowboy guy, the black guy.
Oh, what's up, Noah? Nice to meet you.
Yeah, no. Of course, man. Nice to meet you as well. I just wanted to chop it up a little bit. Actually, we didn't get to talk that much yesterday, but
yeah.
I was curious. Like, I had saw at one point that you did, like, a gifted of dance business. Are you still doing that business?
Yes, but no, meaning like I took a little break because the podcast that I'm doing now, I went full time and it got busier, and that at the moment had slowed down. So I still have the license. I'm just not active currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, right on, man. I was just gonna ask about like what helped you get that business up and going.
Yes.
Like what helped you get that started?
Well, one, I always wanted to, good point. It was actually one of the points I was going to get into in the subject today is that like, I always kind of wanted to do it. I've always kind of been into entertainment. That's always kind of sparked my interest the most. I always wanted to dance. So even when I was little, I would always do it, but I played sports growing up. But then when I graduated, I needed some college credits and they had a dance class available. So I kind of fell into what I wanted to do. And this one thing kind of led to another. I was in the industry for a little while, did some stuff like that, and realized that wasn't the place I wanted to be. The industry kind of had its mess that I didn't want to be a part of. So I left and decided I'll just start my own thing and do it my own way. So that was the plan. I did that. And but I had these big plans of like how I want to do it. Like I want this big dance studio and I want all these different things. And obviously I didn't have the resources to do that, right? It's cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But thankful to Bond, JLP had here at Bond, we have an entrepreneurship program. And I would go to the entrepreneurship program and Jesse would just tell me, he also has this book, The 7 Guaranteed Steps. It's a real small, thin book, it's like 10 pages long. And it tells you the very basic steps that you can take to start a business that don't cost all this big amount of money, and it's very practical steps. And I just followed that, and I just started real small and started like, I I rented space from another dance studio, so I didn't have to pay this big overhead, and
Okay.
was running my program out of there. So it was a baby step, but it was still my own business because I was paying the rent. But I had my own little studio that I was running out of another studio, and they were okay with it. And our new students were coming in, so I took the necessary steps that were in front of me, and they were just small steps, and it was growing and growing. And with the dance, it's kind of different. It's kind of complicated because there's so much competition there, and I was
Right.
still learning a lot of things. So I wouldn't say that I'm done doing that, but right now I just had to take a little break because this got more busy. But the point is, you just small steps. It doesn't have to be this grand thing you need to do to start a business. You could just start small and then build from there.
Okay, right on. Yeah, I was actually asking that because I was curious if you guys still do the entrepreneurship program. I know that I'm not like in LA, but if that was something I was interested in, is there a way to set that up?
What you can do is you can send a one pager to bond@bondinfo.org with the type of business you have, and just make sure it's about like a page long of why you want to start it and what's it about, and send that to bond@bondinfo.org, and then we'll check it out, and we'll
Okay.
let you know. Yeah, Jesse's always keeping
Awesome.
an eye out for that kind of stuff. So
Yeah. Yeah, no, I recently started like a remote training business for like baseball athletes, and I'm probably actually going to
nice.
start training other athletes of other sports as well, just to make sure like these kids are well rounded. Because one thing I noticed is like, at least like in the physical sense, a lot of these kids are unprepared. It doesn't matter really
Yeah.
what sport it is. But at the same time, in training a lot of these kids, I actually realized too, there's a lot of kids that are lost in their imagination, and they can't actually display their athleticism because they're so lost in their minds.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to incorporate all that stuff into one thing, one business. So,
Nice. No, that's cool, man.
Yeah,
I played baseball all my life since I was 4, all the way up until
Really?
high school. Yeah, I was actually going to college to take baseball seriously because I was really good at it. But then that's how I ended up doing the dance stuff. But you play
Okay.
baseball too?
Yeah, I play baseball right now. Actually, I
Nice.
recently just played my first season of pro ball. So
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
that was it was a crazy experience. But I give a lot of credit to just letting go of whatever ideas and plans that I had about it, and
Yeah.
I kind of just put my head down and did everything that was in front of me.
Yeah.
And I woke up one day and I was on planes, flying out to go play places, and just doing my thing. So
Man, this one last thing I want to say really quick, and then I gotta move the calls here, and I appreciate the call too, is that the reason why I was also so good at baseball growing up is because it was always just fun to me. I never took it so serious. It was never way too important to me. And because it was so fun, I can just relax and just enjoy the sport. And because of that is where my true potential would come out. And they would tell me all the time, and not to brag or nothing, but they would tell me all the time, like, I should take it serious and go to the next level. But I always told them that no, I wanted to dance. That was just what I was interested in. But the point is that because it wasn't like what I really wanted to do, my true potential was able to come out in it because it wasn't important to me. So that's what people I think fail to miss, is that don't take anything, whether it's your gift or whether it's your job or whatever, so seriously. It should be enjoyable to you to where you can do it with ease, and that way no stress is involved.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's 100% what I discovered this year. It took me a while, but I'm just glad I was able to reach that. I want to thank you guys, give you guys a shout out because listen to Jesse's show obviously for a while, but also tuning into you guys and listening to some of the nuggets that you guys drop as well. And it's like that was the biggest game changer for me. So I just want to thank all you guys at Bond.
Right on. No, I appreciate that, and good luck with what you have going on. Let me recommend to you though. You just check it out. Is Jesse's little it's like a little small book. It's like 15 pages tops, and it's called The 7 Guaranteed Steps of Family and Financial Success, I believe. Check that out on rebuildingtheman.com/stores. And that's what really, like, a really simple guide on how to take the proper steps to start a business. And that really helped me out. So I would suggest you check that out.
Absolutely, I will.
Right on, Noah. Appreciate it, man. Nice to
Awesome.
meet you. Call
Nice
me
to
again.
meet you as well. Talk to you soon.
All right. Nice. Well, before I end, I'll try to squeeze in another call there, but I want to just tell the story because he already started it. Because like I mentioned, I grew up playing sports, and this is what I really wanted to get into. I grew up playing sports all my life, literally baseball and football, back and forth, basketball too, but not as much. Baseball and football, my cousins played it. We all played it together. It was a thing that we did. And I played it, and I was always pretty good. Like, I was just a natural athlete. And I ended up being really good in baseball and football too, but football was just, it was fun. I loved playing it. I was wide receiver, and, I did really well there too, but, like, it just was always hitting. You know what I mean? You're always just getting beat up all the time, so it wasn't my favorite sport. I always loved baseball because it's more like a classier sport, but you can still be competitive, so I liked baseball. But I always played both growing up. And with baseball, the coaches would always tell my mom that, he's so good, you should make sure he trains all year round so he can become professional. And my mom would tell me, and then she would tell my coaches, no, he doesn't want to do that. He says he wants to dance. And the coach would be like, what the dance? That boy want to dance? We're trying to make this boy a professional player. And I was like, no, he don't want to do that. So I always played, and like I was telling Noah, is that I never had no expectation of being better or trying to be the best. I just enjoyed the sport, and because of that, I was getting good. So anyway, I played and played and played, and I graduated, but I always wanted to dance. That was the thing. But because I wanted to dance so much, right, that was what I wanted to do, dance became so important to me. Right, so from 18 till recently, that was all I wanted to do. That was my life. I just wanted to be this dancer. I wanted to be this big entertainer. I wanted to just, do this thing. And there's nothing wrong with those, having having a vision of what could be, right? But what was wrong about it, quote unquote wrong, right, but improper, was the fact that I wanted it so bad, right? I wanted it so bad, and because of that, it was too important to me. So I had expectations, I had fear, I had doubt, I had worry, and I wasn't having fun with it. So also, when it came to my dance studio, I wanted the kids to grow so much as well, right? I wanted them to develop because I also wanted the studio to be successful. That also kind of shot me in the foot as well at times, because I would I would take it too seriously, right? I would almost take the fun out of it sometimes, because, maybe they weren't working it hard enough or they weren't doing enough. And I had realized that all of that was stemming from me wanting this thing too much, right? Wanting it more than I wanted what was right. So it never worked for me. It never worked in the right way. Like, I had success here. Like, I had success doing certain things. I traveled a little bit. The studio was doing well. But it was always kind of up and down. And it was because my attitude about it was improper. It was an improper attitude. And also location, and, the students have their kids today are a little bit different. They're challenged in the learning way. But, I also realized it was started with me though. And it never worked the way I wanted it because I wanted it so badly. And the topic that I was getting into today is because the reason why a lot of these celebrities are overly emotional, and the reason why emotions kind of run the industry is because what drives a lot of this entertainment is emotion, right? And what happens is even a lot of people in the industry will thank God for the gift that they've been given, right? To sing, to dance, to act, right? And they'll be grateful for the gift, right? Genuinely grateful that they have this gift and they acknowledge that, they're blessed, right? But once they acknowledge that, then now they figure out how to make the gift work. How do we make the gift work? How do we turn this into this big thing, right? And then they discover emotions. Emotions drive that gift, right? Emotions drive it. And once the emotions start driving that gift, because emotions will give you that energy, right? That anger, that passion. It's all passion. And that passion will make for a great song. It'll make for a great relatable whatever, right? Different things, whether it's sports, music, entertainment, whatever. And people will relate to it and they'll buy into it and like, yeah, this is cool. Great song. I love this. This is entertaining. But what happens is now you start to look at the formula. How did I get here? You got to success and you realize, oh, I got here because emotions drove me there, right? Emotions drove me there. So what do? People start clinging to the emotions. And now they use their emotions to get them the success that they're looking for more success, to get the results, right? So they cling to these emotions. And what was with me is that the reason why it wasn't working, because God wasn't allowing me to cling to emotions, right? He kept allowing me to overcome emotions. And I didn't even really know this was happening at the time. He was allowing me to overcome these emotions. And he kept telling me no, and I would be ticked. Like, what do you mean no? I wanted this my whole life. You don't know, right? But he was keeping me from falling into my emotions to make this thing work. And that's what happens to these celebrities. They're all jacked up and they write all these songs telling us that they're depressed, they got fear, they're suicidal. I had some lyrics that I was going to share with you guys, but we're running out of time. But it's because that they're praising the gift more than the giver. The gift is so important to them, right? The gift had brought all the success, but what kept the success going is the thing that drove the gift with the emotions, and emotions jack you all up. They destroy you because they're not secure, right? The light within is true security, and that's what God was showing me, and it's showing me now in the processes as I overcome these things, right? That the light has the real energy, right? And it don't let you down. It don't call no expectation. It brings you right back to when I was younger playing baseball, right? It was just for fun. It was nice and enjoyable. It wasn't extra. It was good-hearted. It wasn't deep. And that's the light, right? And in that is when all things really can come about and it won't affect you in a negative way. But artists can't let that go because they think that if they overcome their emotions, then they'll no longer be creative. So it keeps them stuck in these emotions. And their life is all out of control and everything. But they're too afraid to let it go and overcome because they think that they'll lose the gift. But they ain't putting the giver first. And you got to put the giver first, right? You got to put the giver first. And I understand. You're like, what the? But I always knew in my heart that I had to do the right thing first. I let go of a lot of things. I ain't saying it to brag, y'all, at all. I'm just using it as an example. I let go of a lot of things. I turned down a lot of things that were good opportunities that could have got me here. But something in me always knew that I had to do the right thing. I got to do the right thing. And it's led me to here now realizing the truth. So, at the end of the day, and I'm going to end right now, is these artists are stuck in this limbo of whether they should overcome or stay still, all because they praise the art more. They praise the gift more than the giver. So that was just a message today. It came out all in a weird way, but it made its way. So I appreciate it. Thank you to the callers and the super chatters. I appreciate it. American Anchor Baby is coming in right now. Make sure you guys tune in. You want to go check them out on Rumble. Make sure you guys go check him out on Rumble. You will see this show is going to redirect to Punchy's chat. In Punchy's chat, there's a link to American Anchor Baby's Rumble because you're gonna have to watch it on Rumble today. So or Punchy.tv, wherever you watch it, but not on YouTube. So make sure you guys check that out. I got in so he can come in. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Until next time, I'll be back here tomorrow with some more mess. All right, y'all. Bye.
We have